Do you feel like your life is just an endless stream of RSU vesting events? In this video, I'm going to explain how to get off that treadmill and reduce the number of RSU payout events you have per year down to 12 or maybe even just 4. There are a lot of advantages to having fewer RSU payout events per year. It is more efficient to process a lot of RSU payout events all at once rather than having to spread them out over several days or several weeks. It also then allows you to plan around those RSU payout events so that you can schedule other activities at times when you are not processing RSU payout events. That allows you to better allocate your resources. And then lastly, having all these different RSU vesting events can actually be very confusing for your participants, particularly if they've received RSUs year after year after year, and they have all these different vesting dates, sometimes just days apart. So one approach that we can use to consolidate our RSU vesting events is to have fewer grant dates. Rather than issuing a grant whenever it's requested, we collect those requests. We collect them over maybe a month or a quarter, and then the RSUs to fulfill those requests would all be approved on the same day at the end of that time period. And guess what? If the RSUs are all granted on the same day, they will all vest on the same days as well. Assuming, of course, that they use the same vesting schedule. Another approach would be to consolidate the vesting dates themselves. So under this approach, we go ahead and issue the grants whenever they're requested, but for any RSUs that are granted during our monthly or a quarterly time period, those RSUs would all commence vesting on the same day. And that vesting commencement date might be at the start of that time period. It could be in the middle of that time period, or it could be at the end of that time period. Whatever you choose, if all of the RSUs commence vesting on the same day, then they will all vest on the same days. The last approach would be to consolidate your settlement dates. So under this approach, you still have the same number of grant dates and you still have the same number of vest dates. So you're still granting whenever people request a grant, and all your RSUs are still commencing vesting on the grant date. But instead of paying out the RSUs immediately when they vest, you delay that payout for just a short period. So all the RSUs that are vesting during a month or maybe a quarter are all paid out on the same day after the end of that time period. Under all of these approaches, you will be able to reduce your RSU payout events down to just 12 per year, or if you do it on a quarterly basis, just 4 per year. Imagine what you could do with all that extra time in your life now. You probably have some additional questions, and guess what? We've got some more answers. We have a great article on the NSPP website titled How to Reduce RSU Payout Events. It goes into more detail on all of these different approaches, and it's going to answer some of the questions you have, like why would you pick one approach versus another approach? Why would you choose a monthly period versus a quarterly time period? And most important, once you decide on an approach, what are some key dates you want to avoid for your RSU payouts? We'll include a link to the article in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you're notified when we post new videos. Heck, even if you didn't enjoy it, subscribe anyway. Maybe you'll like the next one. Thanks for watching.